This is the Ford Mustang, and it's one of the most recognisable cars in the world. It's featured in a host of films, been driven by Steve McQueen, and has become an icon of modern culture. But it's only very recently you could actually buy a Mustang in Ireland, and that's because it's taken more than 50 years to produce a right-hand drive Mustang. So was it worth the wait? This is a Mustang for the 21st century. It is modern, yet still pays homage to its heritage. There is a choice between a 2.3 litre EcoBoost 4-cylinder and the 5 litre V8. They're almost identical in the exterior, save for the 5 litre badge on the V8's front fenders and the GT badge on the tail. The 4-cylinder version gets a Mustang logo on the rear instead. Inside it is cosy and comfortable, but while it's all well appointed, it is a little too familiar Ford and lacks a little of the drama of the exterior. Some of the fittings are not quite as durable as you might expect, but the instruments are clear, the front seats are extremely comfortable, and it's very easy to find the perfect driving position. Storage is not a selling point, and the back seats are best reserved for agile friends or kids. The boot is a generous size, but its usefulness is a little limited by the narrow opening. The Mustang comes with two very different engines. There's the 5 litre V8, which this one is. It produces 410 bhp and 524 newton meters of torque. Now that means it will go from 0 to 100 in a very respectable 4.8 seconds and has a top speed of 250 kilometers. Now there is also a 2.3 EcoBoost engine. Now V8 purists will have smoke coming out of their ears at the prospect of a 4-cylinder in a Mustang. I have driven it, it is actually quite nice. It's not nearly as much of a compromise as you'd imagine. It does deliver a Mustang experience. It's not quite the same as the V8, it's a more muted experience, but it's a nice one all the same. But for me, the V8 is the only one to go for. The Mustang built a reputation on delivering style, performance and affordability, and the 2.3 litre EcoBoost certainly does that. The starting price is $49,000. Now it promises 8 litres per 100 or just over 30 miles to the gallon, and CO2 emissions are 175, so you're paying about €750 in motor tax a year. The Mustang is, however, a big, wide and pretty heavy car, and it feels it on the road. If you're going through corners, there is a certain amount of body roll, and certainly if you're going at speed, you really notice it. That said though, it is a really, really good fun car to drive, and that V8 has such an impressive grunt. There's also a few driving modes. You can choose between normal, Sport Plus, racetrack, which is literally just for a racetrack, and then for snow and wet there's also a driving mode for that. On top of that, you also have steering modes. You've got Comfort, Sport or Normal. Again, Normal is probably the best one to go for, but you do have the options. So you have about 12 different options in total to configure the perfect driving experience for you. The V8 is a much more expensive option, obviously. It starts at $65,000. Now this car has about €2,500 worth of extras on top of that. But that said, still as V8s go, it's still a lot of car for the money. Also, if you look at rivals that offer similar power, you're looking at something like a BMW M4 Coupe or a Lexus RCF. Both of those start at over 100,000. So therefore, even with 65,000, you're actually getting a lot of car for the money. The Mustang is rear-wheel drive. You also get the choice of a 6-speed manual gearbox or an automatic. This is the 6-speed manual gearbox, and it's perfectly fine. There's really no need for the automatic gearbox. Also, the suspension has been set up for European roads, and it shows. It grips the road really nicely, and because you're so low down as well, it's fun at any speed to drive. In the first year of global availability, the Mustang has become the world's best-selling sports coupe, and it comes as no surprise. It's fantastic to drive and it's stunning to look at. Yes, it's a little cheap inside, and the V8 is a little on the thirsty side. There are more sensible ways you could spend $65,000, but there are none that would be so cool. It's true, after all this time, Mustangs do have more fun. Geraldine Herbert for Independent.ie.